Scientists say that there are more people alive on Earth today than have ever lived and died since the beginning of time. As the global population grows, it seems to go without saying that one of the greatest, most likely threats that preppers will face is food shortage. No one can say with certainty that global warming is real, nor can they say with absolution that grand solar minimum theory is fact. Nevertheless, global food production worries should be foremost in our prepper minds. There is plenty of evidence that famine has been the largest killer of all time, even in times when global populations were a fraction of what they are today. Even now, with the nearly infinite wealth available to present a solution, 25,000 people die of starvation every day. In 2013, just over 9 million people died from hunger-related illness. Not even war can shadow these numbers. We all talk about what foods to prep and how to stockpile those foods for such an event. One aspect, though, that is never spoken of in prepper land is the best way to eat after we start relying day to day on those stored foods. The possibility of starvation after a disruptive event is not nearly as relevant to serving size or count as it is caloric intake, meal timing, and caloric conservation. After I mentioned in a video that I based my readiness on a 2,500 calorie diet, many commented that they could survive eating just one large meal per day of no more than 1,500 calories. This video was produced not only for those commenters, but anyone who believes that theirs is the way to go. Most of us know that our bodies use carbohydrates to produce the glucose we need to function without weight loss. When we eat carbohydrate-laden foods, our bodies use them in one of three ways. They are either transformed immediately into glucose and used directly as energy, or stored as glycogen in fat cells within muscle and our liver, or when those stores are full, it builds body fat, known as visceral fat, the fat that makes us chubby. Anytime our bodies become glucose deficient, they first start converting fats stored in our liver or muscle. If at any point levels stored there become deficient, our bodies begin to panic and start using visceral fats that were stored for emergencies. This mechanism ensures that energy needed for vital organ function is always there. The process is known as ketosis. If we eat just one large meal a day and continue that pattern, we will eventually enter ketosis and begin losing weight. In many cases, we will lose it rapidly, even while maintaining sufficient intake. Last spring, I partook in a diet called the intermittent fasting diet. In just 30 days, I lost 20 pounds. All the while, I was eating far more than 2,500 calories per day. I lost the weight because I was eating just one meal per day, which meant I was spending part of each day in ketosis. To do this with a caloric intake below normal, while experiencing additional mental and physical stresses of a world without rule of law, will be disastrous. Ideally, we should make every effort to spread our calories into intervals that prohibit this metabolic process. A good separation might be to divide our calories into 4 6-hour intervals, or better yet, 6 4-hour intervals. If we examine our lives as we live them today, many will realize that those few extra pounds that we keep around are actually there because we currently practice, to some extent, an all-day long eating diet and never enter into ketosis. If that is not your current habit, you should change your strategy soon after it hits a fan. Another facet concerning weight loss that is rarely addressed in the prepper community is caloric conservation. Far more than half of Americans live in climates where winter is no laughing matter. Those who do should know that caloric burn can soar even in sedentary activity when we are shivering to stay warm. Anyone that has sat in a tree stand for hours on a bitter cold day understands well the physical drain it puts on our bodies. If your group is small, it is likely that every qualified member will take a turn on guard duty, maybe more than once a day. Most of us can expect to endure this several months each year in very cold conditions. We each need to research and find tried and true methods for maintaining cold weather warmth. Much has been said on prepper channels about the need for exercise after it hits the fan. If we approach societal collapse from a stealth standpoint, as we should, we will likely be pent up during the worst of it, in an effort to not be noticed by unprepared individuals. Remaining silent and unseen will be a great survival multiplier. In order to achieve this goal, and in order to maintain our body's stores of energy, we should make every effort possible to ensure that all physical preparations are in place before an event occurs. While I believe physical activity is vital to ensure good health, it seems intuitive that this might be counterproductive and should be restricted to only that necessary to maintain safety. This is the primary reason we should take measures now to assure that we enter any event in relative fitness and good health. A fine example of caloric preservation was a participant in the first season of the History Channel's Alone series. The winner of that first season, Alan Kay, preserved calories while his competitors wasted their energy on caloric deficit activities. Like the rest, he also lost weight, but in the end he prevailed even while eating less than they did. You may also have noticed that Alan went into the contest with energy in reserve around his waist. Any prepper who believes that his super fit, super lean body is an advantage when it hits the fan needs a wake-up call. You need to take measures now to assure that no facet of life after collapse drains you of your calories. There are simple dietary precautions that could greatly stretch your food stores. While you still can, take note of all diets that exist to lose weight. Take note of all that there is on avoiding weight gain. And when it comes time, do exactly the opposite of what you would do to stay thin. Also, while the information is readily available, research what seeds are needed to maintain high-calorie diets. Many of you may not know that almost all the seed provided in that pricey seed vault are caloric deficit foods, meaning that the effort to plant, harvest, and digest them will burn more calories than you gain. Something as simple as never drinking ice-cold water or eating too much roughage may be the only thing that gets you to the finish line. God bless you all, and if you want to survive, hit like, share, and subscribe.